Welcome to part 2 of the build vlog. As I mentioned at the end of the last one, I was going to begin the pre-wiring and electrical phase of things, but then I started doing a little bit more research because framing was going to be my next step, and I realized that some of these framing blocks or pieces of wood or fir strips, whatever you want to call them, they're going to be covering some of these channels that I was going to use for the wires, these up here. So I decided to kind of do both at the same time. So I'm going to be putting up these furring strips, these support ribs up here, and they're going to be holding up the shiplap I'm going to put on the ceiling. There's going to be some blocks I put here on the side, and maybe the bed frame sort of set up down here. Couple days into the framing step of the van, so I pretty much have all the roof and the top side furring strips installed here, but upon doing some more research and from what I was told, the self-tapping screws aren't really the best way to go, even though there are videos of people using that. So for these side ones, I'm going to be switching to what they call riv nuts, which is a special tool that compresses a threaded metal behind where you'll be attaching the wood or whatever, and then you run a bolt through that, and apparently for thin metal that's more stable. So I've completed the framing. Took quite a few days. I did it over the course of a couple of weeks. Had to do obviously the main ones up here, then these top side ones, then these lower side ones, and then some of the videos that I was watching included the bottom framing in case you want to put panels. So got that all done yesterday. I also ordered the solar panels, just put them all together as far as hardware on the panels themselves. And obviously I don't have anything here as far as batteries and cables, and well, I mean I have the pre-wiring, but I don't have anything for the solar panels to plug into really. But because of the fact that I want to get the installation done and the ceiling done, I'm going to put the panels up because they're going to be some self-tapping screws that drill in through the roof here. I believe I'm going to have them sort of towards the back. We're going to see when we get up there on the roof where exactly they will go. But then we're going to drill a hole somewhere over here, run the wires down, and this is going to be our kind of electrical area with the fuses, the batteries, all that good stuff. So I've been working on things little by little. I got the solar panels installed on the roof, got the cables that run down through here. There's a special little thing that seals the hole coming in through the roof, and also been working on getting the Shiplap panels painted to put over here on the ceiling. I gotta do a quick test for the lighting because I want to make sure the lighting is working, so I'm probably going to buy one of the Battleborn batteries just so I can test my electrical circuits before I start sealing it up. But then once this sealing is done, I can finish up with my electronic components, and just been working on a lot of things a little bit at a time. Also, I am working on these parts of the van that are just going to be paneled over. So we have this area over here, this area on the top, and then there's two areas in the back where there would have been windows if there were on the back doors. And so I've been just cutting pieces of this textured plywood, having it painted, or painting it, and then putting it up here with the rib nuts, just securing it on there, because this insulation is pretty much exposed, but we're going to cover it up. Nothing too crazy, you know, some people put shiplap on here, but I'm not trying to get too crazy with all the design aspects of it. It's going to be more functional than anything.
Oh yeah, right here.
Quick status update. So as you can see, the roof here is all done. Looks pretty good. There are a few parts that are a little iffy. Just weird kind of the way it came together, some little bumps and weird stuff, and I just put a few screws in some certain areas just for safety, because I didn't want anything sort of hanging out and just kind of being a risk. So otherwise, we are all done with that. I have started measuring out and cutting the panels that are going to go on the side here, especially for the electrical side, because I'm going to have all the components kind of screwed onto this 3/4 inch plywood panel on the back over the wheel. I have to do the boxes for the wheel. I got this panel also cut. This is actually where the water tank is going to go, so I need to figure out height wise if it's going to go under the bed or figure out that situation. Meanwhile, the next big thing that I'm going to be doing is I have purchased and received the heater, Webasto heater, and that's going to go in this little part here behind the driver's seat, where you want it as low to the ground as possible, because it's going to be the tubes and the wires and the fuel line is going to be coming out the bottom. So I got to cut a hole in the bottom of the van here. We had a successful install of the Webasto heater. You can see it down here on the floor. Got everything lined up, fuel pump. I gotta do something with the exhaust line coming out, find a way to attach it. Probably just gonna put some kind of heat wrap shield on top of it and zip tie it to one of the lines so it's sticking outside of the van. Everything else came out pretty great. I actually haven't tested it, but I'm gonna be hooking up the wiring because there's a few wiring cables I need to figure out. Maybe I'll do that today, maybe tomorrow. But that's pretty much set. Then I also have to build the box or the step that's going to go around it. Also going to work on that tomorrow. Today we don't have much time because it's sort of the end of the day. So I'm probably going to start wiring some of these switches and outlets from all the pre-wiring that we got done here. And I'm also going to start to put on the panels as the electrical components start to come in for the main setup. But I'm going to have everything else set up and maybe start sealing some of these panels here so we get a little bit of progress done. So my original plan was to complete all the electrical on this episode of the vlog, but as things go with all the framing and all the other stuff that I've been doing, putting in the flooring and stuff, pretty much it would be too much to cover in this vlog. We're already at about 15 minutes. So instead I'm going to be going over the components that I'm using because I pretty much have everything here. There's a few things that are still arriving, but let's take a look. So we're going to be going with the more higher end stuff here, the Victron. This is a Victron, let's see if I can angle the camera. This is a Victron Smart Solar MPPT charge controller, so it's going to be in between the solar panels, this, and then the battery. Speaking of the battery, we're going to have 3 of these Battleborn Life P04 batteries. They're lithium batteries. I have 4 right now because I've been buying them used, and actually this one's new, but I had purchased 3 from somebody originally planning to have a 2 or 3 battery system. Now I have 4, so I have to get rid of one. So anyways, we're going to have 3 of these guys. This is our Victron battery monitor. I have a DC to DC Victron charger, which I had actually ordered one, but it was the wrong one. It was a 2412 one, and so I need a 12 to 12 because that's going to go from the battery into our whole electrical system over here in the corner of the van. So that's still on its way. We get numerous cables. I cut and put the little bracket on all of these, the lug, heat shrink, and all this stuff. Everything should be according to size. We have our wheel box right here. Certain things labeled, holes made for switches and cables and stuff like that. I put the panel, as you saw already, in the van, to which some of these are going to be attached to. Some are going to be attached to the box itself. So still finishing those little things. This is our shore power, which I haven't actually ordered the inverter yet because that's quite expensive, and I'm trying to see if I could find one used. And it's not immediately urgent because shore power is pretty much only if you're somewhere in a campground or you can plug in. If I have everything set up, I can at least have alternator charging and solar charging. So that's good enough for now. So over the next probably couple weeks, going to be putting these in, and the little complexities of breakers and fuses and all this stuff, because there's a lot more components. Take a look at these boxes over here. There's bus bars and fuse boxes and all this crazy stuff. These are just the main components that I'm covering here. I'm going to do a breakdown of the pricing on the next episode, probably just because that's going to be the halfway point of the entire van, because from there it's plumbing and then cabinets and all the furniture, bed, and all that stuff. So for this episode of the vlog, hope you enjoyed the conversion, and stay tuned because we got a lot more work to do.